Welcome to Off-Grid News, the news that's not fit to print. Tesla delivered 936,172 electric vehicles in 2021. Tow truck services are up 5,000% when drivers realize there is no place to plug them in at. Police struggle to deter rising catalytic converter theft. Police say it's surprisingly hard to catch these thieves laying under cars with chests of tools and sparks flying out from underneath the cars. We just don't know what to look for. NASA says 2022 will be the year humans return to the moon. China is expected to land on the moon any day now. 2,300 flights canceled due to Omicron cold front that started in the northwest and traveled to the southeast. CNN reported they are looking forward to Trump's running for president again, after they realized their ratings are in the tank. Trump reminded supporters at his rally that his hair is real. Defense Secretary got the sniffles on Sunday despite being vaccinated. He said he will self-quarantine while maintaining power over the military. He continued by saying the military is drudging through the sniffles while continuing rigorous sensitivity, social justice, and inclusiveness training. Congressman Adam Schiff held a press conference Monday. He said, "Russia, Russia, Russia." Nancy Pelosi said she might be stepping down as Democrat leader and Speaker of the House. After 20 years in power, when asked who will fill her position, she said, "Someone that will follow my orders to the letter." New York News reported that a murderer, armed robber, and domestic abuser walked into a bar, but an unvaccinated person can't. South Africa's study finds Omicron could eliminate Delta by boosting immunity. The CDC responded by saying, "We understand the concern, but not to worry, there are many other letters of the alphabet." The White House admits that hospitals are counting children as virus patients if they test positive, even if they are not being admitted for the virus, leaving one unvaccinated person saying, "And they want me to trust them about the vaccine." A federal judge blocked vaccine and mask mandates on workers and volunteers in the Head Start program in Texas, stating HHS acted without congressional law authorizing the mandates. Biden says judges need to stop making laws on the bench. That is Congress's job. At least they both agree. Media company Grabin News has been suspended by Twitter for posting a video of Congressman Amy Briggs criticizing Big Pharma. It's predicted that every account on Twitter will be suspended by 2024, leaving one economist saying this does not appear to be a sustainable business model. AOC, Democrat congressman from New York, claims Republicans are sexually frustrated and mad they can't date her. She actually said that. That's not satire. White House spokesperson said the White House would like to see everyone vaccinated, so only the vaccinated is spreading the virus. They actually said that. That's not satire. Minnesota doctor is under investigation for prescribing other treatments for the virus that is conflicted with the CDC. Now the state wants the private patient records of the doctor. In other news, the U.S. Constitution has been suspended for the duration of the pandemic. The Wall Street Journal said grocery prices will go up 5% in the first half of the year, leaving one shopper to say, "I knew this months ago." The owner of the Let's Go brand and stores is expanding from 8 to 10 stores. It's rumored that President Biden bought a t-shirt from the store. The doctor who developed the vaccine for the virus has been banned from Twitter for medical misinformation about the vaccine. In a world where a man is disgraced, canceled, and censored for talking about a cure he invented that saved the human race from extinction, welcome to the Twilight Zone. There is growing concern that the famous podcaster Joe Rogan might be banned from Twitter for interviewing the doctor that invented the vaccine. Joe Rogan gave a statement about the controversy. Joe said, "F that! Israel will buy 12 heavy transport helicopters for $3 billion with money the U.S. gave Israel." When asked how this made sense, Joe Biden said, "Well, the thing about Israel is, well, you know what I mean." New crime deterrent technology is being deployed in San Francisco. Car owners are now rolling down windows and opening trunk doors to prevent windows from being broken. Hy-Vee grocery stores are placing armed security guards in the store to prevent theft. This is a response to Chicago Mayor Lightfoot's telling merchants that theft in your stores is not her responsibility. It is the store's responsibility. Hy-Vee in a statement said, "Take that, Mayor Lightfoot." New York City Health Department said they will be giving virus treatments to blacks only because, things. New York Senate Bill 8416 is being voted on that gives the governor authority to imprison anyone the governor deems a threat to public health without a trial indefinitely. This does not necessarily mean you are a public health threat, only that the governor thinks you are, and allows the governor to force a vaccine. When asked, one New Yorker said, now Trump is out of the office, the country can finally get back to being a democracy. She continued by saying, I'm a historian, and this is exactly how Germany handled its public health threat in the 1930s, and they had tons of success with their program. NBC reports that communities are testing wastewater to determine the severity of the Omicron threat, leaving one Midwestern to ask, why don't they just check the hospitals like they used to do? When his wife slapped him on the arm and said, Hun, nobody's going to the hospital. I just told you that yesterday. You never listened to me. During the west spread we have seen from the virus so far, Brazilian president, who is fully vaccinated, was hospitalized for stomach cramps. He is expected to be released soon and will self-quarantine for 10 days. NASCAR decides to not allow sponsors Let's Go Brandon because it's not politically correct. One NASCAR fan said, that don't make a lick of sense. Biden is even saying it. Capitol Police Chief warns that threat level is much higher than last year's January 6th protest, yet could not point to one specific threat other than the Republican Party has not been fully disbanded, risking their own safety and showing their bravery and resolve to protect this country from those who would do it harm. Biden and Harris will visit the Capitol on January 6th on the one-year anniversary of the Capitol protest. The Associated Press asked top scientists from around the world, how will this dreaded pandemic end? One top scientist said, when the media shuts up about it. AOC, the New York Congresswoman, gives her remembrance of January 6th protests by saying, unlike anything anyone could have imagined. Unlike the millions of soldiers who fight in endless wars that her and her cronies send them to, said one vet. White House to invest $1 billion to boost competition in the meat processing industry and lower consumer costs while farmers who raise the meat struggle to keep afloat with smothering regulations. Leave it to Washington to not understand where meat comes from, said one farmer. Rhode Island went from firing unvaccinated to hiring virus-positive workers, leaving one hospital chief of staff to say, who knew if you fired everyone, there wouldn't be anyone left to work? Reuters reports that hospitals are not seeing an increase in Omicron patients. Chicago Mayor Lightfoot reports hospitals are seeing an increase of Omicron patients. Associated Press says that the hospitals are not seeing an increase of Omicron patients, leading one child to say, Mommy, this seesaw isn't fun anymore. Representative Cheney cites testimony that Ivanka asked Trump to please stop the violence on January 6th. She failed to mention that immediately he called Capitol Police and told them to stop shooting unarmed people. Omicron forced cancellations of thousands of flights on the East Coast. Winter storm Omicron is responsible for many trying to return home from the holidays to miss work on Monday. Omicron dumped snow from Tennessee to New York on Monday, causing New York mayor to lock down the city and mandate vaccines. On Monday, former Vice President Pence filed Supreme Court brief opposing President Biden's vaccine mandates, which proves he tried to overturn the fair and free election of Joe Biden over a year ago. Audit of Missouri hospitals showed that there's almost no patients being treated for Omicron, forcing the Democrats to call the governor to reinstate the state of emergency in Missouri. A mother learned her unborn child was missing a chromosome on a test that is less than 50% accurate. The hospital immediately rushed the mother into surgery to begin hormone treatment therapy on the unborn child to match the child's sex to what it identified with. Whoopi Goldberg tested positive for the virus after an interview on The View, where she yelled and pointed her finger at the guest. Apple is the first U.S. company to reach a $3 trillion market cap by selling products that break into 1 million pieces the first time you drop it. New New York City mayor says closing down the city for Omicron is as dangerous as the virus, but is continuing his plan of closing down the city despite the danger. A year after the Capitol protest, Americans fear violence threatens U.S. democracy. In another poll taken the same day, a third of the nation says the only way to save democracy is through violence, leaving one Texan to ask, wonder which one will win. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she is proposing term limits on the governor and lieutenant governor's office to 2 4-year terms, which would require an amendment to the New York's Constitution. One New York lawmaker said it's unlikely to pass. And besides, who does she think she is coming in here replacing our amazing Governor Cuomo and thinks she's going to change our democracy into a dictatorship? 2 college students rescued a dog after an avalanche buried the dog on the popular ski patch Berthoud Pass. Dog is in good condition and no worse for wear, but refuses to explain why he was skiing there. 5 of the world's most powerful nations pledged no nuclear war. No explanation as to why Russia and China were crossing their fingers when they agreed. If you see a camera or microphone icon appear at the top right of your Android telephone, immediately stop talking. Cover the camera with tape or, in an emergency, anything you have. These icons indicate someone is trying to listen and watch you. One Midwestern resident said just when big tech convinced us they weren't watching us pick our nose, they came out and confessed it. Democrat mayor said voting ID is racist, but in the same speech said it's important that everyone show proof of vaccine to eat. Who writes these speeches? Off-Grid News would like to hire them to write these jokes. It appears the virus will be around for years to come. Biden signed a $137 million deal with Germany pharmaceutical company. It will take 3 years to build the company. CNN stated, "This is perfect." Education Secretary said he wants to keep students in the classroom because he knows students do better. He continued by saying that, unfortunately, the decision to keep children in the classroom is not up to him. The decision falls squarely on the teachers' unions. Leaving a group of PTA mothers in Arkansas to say, I don't think so, boy. You come say that to my face. Hold on just a minute. This just in, it appears that the teachers' union is going to let one school district in Arkansas to allow kids return to classes. After 2 years of forcing cloth mandates, LA County says they are no longer effective. Wait, didn't we already know that? Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene was permanently suspended from Twitter for medical misinformation. When asked, one California resident said, "Oh, thank goodness, that woman was a vile woman." The resident was asked if AOC, the New York congresswoman, should be suspended for saying all Republican men want to sleep with her. The resident said, "Oh no way. She is adorable, sweet, and innocent. Why would you even ask such a ridiculous question?" Motorists are self-quarantining themselves overnight on East Coast interstates as Winter Storm Omicron causes icy and snowy road conditions. U.S. sets world record of 1 million cases of the sniffles. FDA and CDC decided to take a break from whining and complaining about the sniffles and investigate an E. coli case tied to packaged salad in 6 states. When asked what states and companies are responsible, a spokesperson said it's more vital than ever to get vaccinated. Hundreds have been arrested for the January 6th Capitol protest, but questions remain why the other 56 million people who voted for Trump remain free. CBS asked. Biden announced his plans to implement his Stay in Mexico policy. It's taken almost a year to end Trump's force people to live in treacherous conditions in Mexico policy to his new Stay in Mexico policy. Israel reported that a woman who was giving birth is the first person to test positive for the flu and virus at the same time. CNN said, "Woohoo, this is awesome." A teacher arrested for injecting a teen with the vaccine without parents' approval. The teacher is not medically qualified to do so. The CDC said it is vitally important that everyone is vaccinated. The Justice Department asked if the hundreds of people rotting in jail without bail will ever be held accountable for their January 6th Capitol protest. The world may never know. New virus variants with 46 mutations worries experts in France. CNN said, "Woohoo, this is awesome." So that's all your news that's not fit to print. Please share this with your friends on other social media sites. Click subscribe so you can get the latest updates. Thanks for watching.